Hey everyone, it's Dr. Evan. Today we're going to talk about how to use a flow and a lookup table. So I've had this issue, I've seen this issue, I've heard people talk about this issue, but they're running into issues with formula fields and the limits of them. A lot of times they're using conditional logic, so they're using if statements, case logic, that type of deal. And those types of things work great when you have a small amount of content that you need to analyze. But as soon as you start getting to a larger set of data and you need to do a lot of comparisons, formula fields start to break down you because they don't scale as easily as this process that we're going to talk about. One of the reasons why they don't scale very easily is because of this 3,900 character limit that is imposed on them. So you're limited to actually how big you can build a formula field. It also becomes hard to read after the first few entries. This one is actually set up pretty well. You can actually make out what's going on. But going back and modifying and finding things is going to become a little bit of a hassle. So in today's task, we're going to do something where we're going to assign the ownership of a lead to a user based on the lead's title. We're not using the lead assignment rules for this. We're going to use our process for this just because we didn't want to have to build out all the different lead assignment rules and try to manage it that way. This process can be used just about any time you need to use ordered pairs and you want to grant access to an update or create a record. If you're using ordered pairs and you want to do this type of thing, you can use this process to do that. Our first task is we're going to go ahead and make a custom object that's going to store the titles and the users that are basically going to assign the records to. So we created our custom object, aka that lookup table. We called this one title assignment. And then we created some fields. We created the active checkbox to make sure that the record is active. We have the assign to user. That's going to be the person who we're going to send the record to. The last one is the title assignment name. I'm using the standard name functionality for this, the text deity. But if you needed to have a larger text field, you could make the name of your lookup table to be auto numbered and create your own name field or text field to store that value to use that as a lookup. Either way is good. Just in this scenario, name has a limit of 80 characters, but if you needed to have more, you could go down that other route. Some sample records that we created, we have title assignment name where we have CEO. So if any of the leads come in with the title CEO, they're going to assign those to Batman. And any of the VP of accounting, if any of those leads come out with that title, then we're going to send those to Jake. Before we move on, please like and subscribe. I do produce self-service tips every week. Let's get back to the flow. So our flow, this can be a trigger flow. It's on the lead object. We're going to do, I have selected run as records created, but we're going to do records created or updated. And in here, we're going to go ahead and create a format field. And we're going to make sure that the title is not blank. So we want to make sure there's a title populated. And we're going to fire this when the record is created or if that title is changed. And once that happens, we're going to go ahead and do a get records. We're going to go find the title for assignment. So we're going to find that lookup table. We're going to look to find where that name matches the record title. Record in the scenario is the lead. So we're going to find a record that for a title assignment that matches the name of the title of the lead that triggered this flow. Then we're going to build two decision elements. I have one that says we found something or we didn't find something. So if we didn't find something, we're just going to leave it as is. If we do find something, we're going to go ahead and send it down the road. Then here's just a simple what it looks like. So we have a decision, title is found, title is not found. I just like to be very direct and tell my flow exactly what needs to happen based on those elements. And then we're going to do the update. So we're going to use the lead record that triggers the whole entire flow. And we're going to assign the owner ID we're going to assign the owner ID of the value from the title assignment from the field title that we looked up. So the value that when we looked up that record, we found the owner that's supposed to be assigned to. We grab that value. We're going to put that there into the owner field so that when the record gets updated, it's going to take whoever matches that title for that lead. And it's going to say this owner is going to be the owner of that record. So this is what it looks like completed. We have our get title for assignments. That's our get record. We're doing a decision. If we find something, we're going to update the records based on the title of the lead. We're going to get that user's ID, and then we're going to assign that as the owner of the record so that in that scenario, if this was CEO, the CEO would then be Batman. Then Batman would become the owner of the lead once it was completed. Hopefully you learned something today. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you next time.